Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Girl Dad Show. Today is the finale for season 3, and we are wrapping up the season, and it is very, very exciting to be able to say we're closing out the season already. It feels like it was the longest year of recording this podcast out of the 3 years so far, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's been so challenging on just the business side of things and life. But I will say it's been riddled with a lot of ups and downs this year hosting this podcast. So would love to share that journey with you and share with you all the stuff that we have planned during this break, kind of catch you up on that, talk to you a little bit about what I've learned over this last year doing this podcast, and share with you some of the major insights that I've gained from the amazing interviews this year. And then I'd love to wrap up by sharing with you the plans that we have for season 4. And yes, there will be a season 4. So to kick us right off, for those of you guys that have just more recently joined the show and started watching, every year we take a break. And the break is usually around 6 weeks long, and it starts around now. And we take a break and we regroup. We typically have redesigned the logo and kind of rebranded, mostly because we do a SWOT analysis and we figure out what we liked about the show, what went well, what didn't go well, what we didn't like about it, things that we wanted to try and include in the next iteration. And then we build out a new kind of thesis around that. And that has usually allowed us to, led us to starting a new brand, right? And so we have done that over the last 3 years. And this year's no different. We are taking a break. And so we will pause after this episode. And for about 6 weeks, we will regroup and do a whole strategy session again. But for the most part, we have a good understanding of what we want to do, but we're still going to take the break. Mostly just to catch up on content. It's not easy creating content and takes a lot of time and effort. And finding great stories to tell, packaging it up to process and distribute is different. And just a lot of things are very time consuming. And so we're taking the break to just basically bank up on content, which will be really helpful for me and the team. Although we're not really going to need it for the strategy session because we're going to keep the brand. We're happy with it. And we have a couple of ideas of how to re-optimize the direction and things that we want to test in season 4. But for the most part, mostly just taking the break to just keep up with what we've done in the past and really use it to build up content. But what you're going to find is over the next 6 weeks, we have remastered some of our previous podcast episodes over the last 3 years that had lower audio processing or quality. And we found the ones that had the worst kind of like audio processing, and we've just remastered them. So video and audio quality wasn't as good as it is now. And there's been a lot of technological advancements, but also just streamlining our internal operations. And so our editor has taken the liberty of remastering some of those so that we can repurpose those content episodes with a higher level of quality. But they're also amazing stories, right? They're also incredible episodes. So really excited to bring back from the past select interviews that I would love to share with you from the early days of the podcast in higher audio and video quality. And those will be really fun to share. In addition to that, we're also going to be doing something pretty unique during the break, and I will be posting lives all throughout the break. So we'll be doing the remastered videos, and then in between, we're going to continue with the Girl Dad Talks, but we're also going to be publishing them live. So you will see me go on, I believe we're going to try doing it on all channels. We'll see, but LinkedIn, maybe not LinkedIn, definitely Instagram and TikTok, but maybe even LinkedIn. We're going to go live on Sunday afternoons and maybe Sunday mornings. I'm not exactly sure the time yet. We'll make those announcements very soon here, but it'll be Sunday sometime. And we will go live, most likely the afternoon, actually. And I'll give you a live update on the Girl Dad Talk during the break and kind of give you a play-by-play in the moment. And then following intermittently, we'll do a live and then remastered interview from the past. And that should take us into June, where we have Father's Day, and then we'll relaunch with normal sequence and cadence of interview plus a girl dad talk, interview plus a girl dad talk, and we'll launch into season 4. And so that's kind of the plan for the next few weeks here on the break. And I'm very excited about it because I could definitely use some downtime from the show, which leads me to the second topic I want to talk to you about, things that I've learned about parenting and just podcasting in general. Season 3 was very interesting as we're now much more accustomed to the flow, and we have a really good internal operation. And we really tried to push the gas pedal on growing it this year. And inevitably, we burned a lot of gas and very minimal traction. I mean, we've been growing consistently, very, very consistently, actually, month over month. And it's just not a big number. And so it's just kind of growing at a steady pace. And it's fine. It's also really good to have that minimal growth, but consistent growth. But we're also trying really hard to scale it up. And I think that may have caused me to burn out a little bit from creating content and also keeping up with it, because we tried to implement a lot of different strategies and tactics, trying to figure something that would grow it. But it doesn't seem like anything we really tried grew it noticeably. It's all been kind of just consistent, steady growth. And so it ended up leading to needing to remove some costs and other things. And so I parted ways with Roanne, my manager and editor, because we couldn't afford to keep at the pace that we were keeping at and investing the amount of time and energy into it, because it wasn't going where we needed it to go to grow so that we could get sponsorships and advertisers and things like that. And so we ended up parting ways, which I'm bummed out about, because Roanne was not only the biggest fan of the show, she was also just an incredible editor and manager and thought leader. And more importantly, she was a great friend and really helped me think through what it meant to be a working parent, and help me ideate the topics and really work through a lot of the content that I wanted to share. And I miss her. I miss her a lot. And I think the podcast feels a lot less fun and wholesome without her. But I also had to make that decision temporarily, because I also need to figure out what it looks like to do this with low cost and low time, and figure out what that looks like, and or possibly consider shutting it down, which I have thought about twice this season, which is 2 more times than other seasons. It's a labor of love. It's a lot. And there doesn't seem to be necessarily any kind of indication that it'll grow or be easier or better. And you have to really have a lot of blind faith that you're doing something that is meaningful and find meaning in other places. But, and I've already made the decision to keep going. So there's going to be a season 4, but I do think that this season was a lot more introspective and helpful for me to really think through what this is for me and how long I want to do it, especially during a down economy when money and time is scarce, and how important this is to me, and what that looks like, because it is very uncomfortable, and it's very inconvenient, and it's hard to continue to do this. But the reason why I pushed over back to sticking with it and doing it, there's a couple of reasons actually, but the number one reason is really around the fact that it helps me stay accountable to see something through. And when I set off on this journey, the point wasn't ever to make it profitable or to make it successful by any means. It was literally to document the journey and build in public. And there's multiple reasons for that, right? One is to share the learnings and insights that I'm gaining with other people if they're interested in learning it. But 2, it's really for me to put out there what my goals and aspirations are, and really hold me accountable to those goals and aspirations. Building in public creates a certain level of commitment and discipline that that you don't need to have if you build in silence, right? And obviously, building in silence is probably the best way to do it, because you can basically build in silence when no one's deterring you from your focus one way or the other. There's no commentary around it. And that's probably the best way to build, and just build in silence and then ratchet up your businesses when there's no distractions. But I think building in public is very unique in that, for me, I'm trying to do something that is a little bit different than just building up a business to be successful. I'm trying to figure out ways to be a really good parent, and really find this kind of work-life integration thesis, and really do a lot of discovery on what it means to be happy as a middle-aged dad and professional trying to navigate what parenting means. And when I think about the things that I'm learning from talking to these other successful parents, it really does help me. I mean, even in the last few interviews alone, let alone all the interviews that I've had this year, I've had so many really reflective moments just talking to them about how they think and perceive the world. And you would think that it would be kind of one and done and over again, but I'm still surprised even to this day. And just the perspective and the mindset that different people have on what it means to be happy, what it means to be successful, and then what it means to be a good father or parent. It's so wide and varied, and it's incredible to be able to talk to people about it and learn from it, and most importantly, actually change how I perceive the world from it. And that's actually pretty important to me. And although, there's been a lot of changes in costs and how we operate the podcast, and I've now used a tremendous amount of AI to do a lot of the editing work and a lot of the processing work to lower the cost. And obviously the quality has suffered from it a little bit, but it almost feels like the meaning has to be more around, that objective of growth and personal growth versus the monetary focus. And I think that's where I lost my way in season 3. I really tried to focus the purpose of it to be more monetary, and I don't think it's gonna happen if you focus on it like that, unless you have a really, really big commitment in capital and resources to do it. And I don't have neither time nor the resources that I want to spend on it. So I'm also not sure if the content topic is as interesting to people as it is to me. And so there's a lot of things that I've been like understanding about this topic, about like the dichotomy of being a professional, successful professionally while also successful as a family man. I'm not entirely sure that it's, a widely sought after content piece, something that's more important to me and something that's more interesting to me. And that's okay, because I will say the benefit of doing season 3 and the biggest things that I'm grateful for is that I have now met more incredible people every single season that I've done this. And I've gotten access to some of the most amazing minds to talk to and build relationships with. And a lot of these guests that I have, I end up hanging out with personally and physically later on because of that connection made through this interview. And I think back to all the people that I never would have imagined being like networked with professionally, let alone personally friends with. And it's awesome. It's an awesome, awesome thing to be able to say that this podcast has given me access to people that I never would have crossed paths with otherwise. And so another thing that I add to the list of things that I enjoy and like about it, which I think is awesome. And then lastly, I do think that if I can keep focusing in on these conversations that I'm having with these parents, I can also really figure out ways to share the learning journey that I have with other people that are interested in this topic. Because I think there are people that are interested in this. And I do think that there is a wave of modern parenting that is coming about that is very different from the previous generation. And I think that, oftentimes, there's this kind of like generational swing as it relates to parenting. And a lot of people talk about how kids are becoming a little bit more softer just to be a little bit more generic and stereotypical. I think that there is truth and merit to those stereotypes, but I also think that we're navigating this world very differently. And I think the technology that's coming in, what success looks like economically and societally, is also impacting what that looks like in a family environment. And I think these conversations are really important to have for the larger public, and really figuring out what that looks like for other people, and also sharing these stories of other people doing it. But if nothing else, I have learned that it is very valuable for me to continue to learn and push, because one, I really love learning, and I really love meeting new people, and I really love hearing different perspectives. It keeps me empathetic. It keeps me humble. It keeps me in a learner's mindset, and it opens me up to different ways of thinking and perspectives, which only helps me in building businesses and being a better father. I love it for those reasons. And so I will say the big recap for me for season 3, just to sum it all up, is that I have now a clear understanding that this may never end up being a huge success in the sense of monetary gain. But I'm okay. I'm okay doing that, and I'm okay doing it and continuing to do it. I kind of lost my way in season 3 trying to do that. I think if it happens, it needs to happen by itself organically, not necessarily as a focus. And I think that I just need to really lean into what I did on season 1 and 2, which is the purpose of the show, which is for me and to learn, and to meet really cool people. And it's as simple as that. And if I can figure out ways to lower the cost using AI and technology, and I can figure out ways to lower the time by taking breaks like this and optimizing my procedures, it should limit the amount of effort and money that it takes to operate this, so that I can still get the same benefits with less pain and struggle. And I think the other thing that I learned this year is that not everything can be controlled, and not everything needs to be controlled or processed into a system. And which is really weird for me to say, because I like live and breathe by systems. I live and breathe by calendaring everything, and by results, and leading activities, and processes. And a big epiphany from season 3 is that there are a lot of really successful people out there that are navigating both parenting and the professional career with just more of a open mind. Directionally, they're headed in a direction, but just very open to what the world gives them. And it's a lot more fluid, and it's a really interesting way to live. And it's a really great insight for me, and I'm really excited about that insight, because I think I need more of that, and I think I need a balance in my life a little bit, and temper it down. But I am shedding quite a few things in my life. I'm absolving a couple of businesses and selling off some investment homes that have been draining me both in time and cash. And going to really double down and focus on what I have that is working, so that I can try to grow this year and figure it out. But out of those things, I am going to keep the show. And I'm going to keep going on with the Girl Dad Show, even though it is a cost center for me. I believe the pros are outweighing the cons. And so the goal is to continue to build, and continue to talk to you guys about my journey, build in public, share how I'm building my professional success with my parenting success, and walk you through my thought process like this. And then also just interview really amazing people and see how they think about it. And hopefully this will help some of you guys learn. And I know for a fact that it helps me. So that's kind of where we're at. And as it relates to season 4, we will jumpstart again on Father's Day. That'll be the season 4 kickoff. And it'll be the same format. It'll be interview with the Girl Dad Talk, me sharing with you my professional parenting journey, an interview, and a Girl Dad Talk. We may actually start focusing a lot more on parenting itself. I've kind of avoided that topic a lot, because I don't feel very equipped to be speaking about how to be a good dad or a good parent. But I do feel like the comfortability of me talking about business success has superseded the comfortability of talking about parenting success. And as I head into this new season, I think my focus is going to be a little bit more on parenting success, and talking about parenting things that I have learned and that I'm utilizing. And I already do that a little bit, but I do think the focus will be veered a little more in that direction in season 4, because I definitely hide behind more of the business success and business stuff. And I justify it by saying that I'm doing it so that I can create a better life for my kids. But I do think that I want to start talking about the parenting stuff, because I'm learning how to garden and doing things incredibly inefficiently. I never would have imagined myself working in the yard. It's just so inefficient, and the time spent on it could have been easily outsourced. Um, and now I'm like in there doing this manual work with my family, because that is the bonding. That is the characteristics that I want to exude to my kids. And that's the time that I want to spend with my family. And so I feel like I'm evolving a lot and changing. And I think that it's important to talk about, because I've never spent this much time really thinking through what it looks like beyond professional success, and what that means to actually then now have the latitude and the time to spend with my kids, and what does that time look like. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to you guys a little bit more about that in season 4. And we'll do some more fun things. And if the live thing goes really well during the break, we may incorporate some more of those as well too. But that's what you can expect in season 4. A little more conversations around parenting and what parenting things that I'm learning about myself and how I'm evolving as a dad. And then 2, more interviews, with amazing people. So if you're hearing this, please feel free to introduce me or share with me some amazingly societally successful people that are also parents that are navigating the journey, so that I can interview them. And if you have any questions or thoughts around the show, I would love to hear them. Please, please, please give this a 5-star review on whatever listening platform you listen to this on. And thank you again for being part of this journey. It means so much to me that you have supported me, followed along on this journey for 3 years straight. And if you're just joining, I'm excited to have you here for the next season and ongoing as well too. But thank you again for all of your support. It means the world to me that you're here. And please let me know if there's anything that I can do to help you along on your journey, or if there's anything that you want to know more about. Thank you again. This is season 3, signing off. We'll see you guys in season 4. Au revoir.